But up next on the AM show, Mama Vioso Abaje has been engaging Jacob, a transport expert at Top Tech Logistics, on what each sign means, what the implications are, and what you should do when you see any of those lights flash up on your dashboard in your car. What does it mean? That's up next on the AM show.
Hello there. Today on our Drive Safe campaign, we're talking about the dashboard, and I'm referring to that control panel that is set within the central console of your vehicle. There's a good reason why you shouldn't ignore the lights that appear there. And so we're sitting through a class today at Top Tech. I would invite all of you to join me.
We are here to talk about the car instrumentation panel. There are some instruments on the instrumentation panel which each and every driver should understand what exactly it communicates to. We have the first one being the tachometer, which spells T-A-C-H-O, tachometer, or the rev counter. It is connected to the engine, which tells you the power of your engine. It tells you the power of your engine, how your engine revolves. If we look at it, we can see times 1000 R/mean. It tells us that our engine revolves 1000 times every minute. Every minute your engine revolves 1000 times. That is how come when you start your engine in the morning, the red nozzle rises above 1. The calibrations we are seeing in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6, are in thousands. They are not able to write 1000. That is why they use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to represent it. When we also look at it, we see a part shaded red, which we are going to talk about it. The same tachometer tells you if your car is consuming fuel. If in the local dialect, most taxi drivers will be saying, they'll call the mechanic and say that, oh, Masami Jane was wrong, which means that the power of the engine is too high. What makes them know is the tachometer. When you start your engine early in the morning, the red nozzle needs to go up. It goes above 1000. Within the shortest possible time, it needs to drop below 1000, which is, when you divide it into 2, it should be between 1000 and 500, which tells you that your engine is running the normal way. But the moment it rises above 1, which is 1000, and stays there for a long time, then your engine is running twice the normal way, whilst it is stable, it's not moved. If you move the car, then it's going to run more. That's how come sometimes our car will be consuming fuel. Apart from the spark plugs consuming fuel, this also prompts you that your car is really consuming fuel. The tachometer, we shouldn't accelerate for it to get into the red zone. The red zone, red always represents danger when it comes to this. When it goes into the red zone, your engine can break down. It means that you are forcing the engine, you are forcing it to run, which will allow your engine to break down. That is the tachometer for us. We have some icons on it, which are the dashboard lights. From here we will move to that, so we explain all these lights that we see on the instrument panel. The next instrument we can see here is the speedometer. The speedometer is connected to the wheels. It only moves when your car starts to move. The maximum speed for highway, motorway has a maximum speed of 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers per hour. Then we have the highways having 60 kilometers per hour. It is measured in kilometer per hour as we see from this side. The speedometer tells you the speed at which your car is moving at a point in time. So it is always better to look at your speed limits, speed limit signs on the road, so you can link it with the speedometer. Now, most cars that are coming in has 2 calibrations. The first and the second. We will see another one with a calibration very smaller than the bigger ones. All I want people to know is when it has 2 calibrations, all you need to look out for is your unit of measurement, which is the kilometer per hour or the miles per hour. Some will have miles per hour, some will have kilometer per hour. Miles per hour is not used in our country. We don't do miles per hour, we do kilometer per hour. So when you look at it and you see mph, that is the miles per hour up, and the kmh below the miles per hour, which means that the smaller calibrations in the middle is what we are supposed to use. When you project from miles per hour, which is 60 kilometers miles per hour, or 60 miles per hour to kilometer per hour, then it's 100. 60 miles per hour gives you 100 kilometers per hour. So if you are using the miles per hour, then it means you are going beyond the speed limit signs on our road, which most people, because the smaller calibrations is very small, they tend using the bigger ones, which is very wrong. So all you need to do for the speedometer is look for the unit of measurement. If you have two calibrations, look for the unit of measurement if it's kmh or mph. From there we move to the transparent seal that we are seeing here. We have two numbers, 181.5, which is the trip meter, and we also have 14656, which is the odometer. So with the trip meter, what it does is it tells you the distance you've covered from one destination to the other. You can reset it. The trip meter can be reset. You set it to 000. So by the time an example like we are moving from Top Tech to Cape Coast, by the time we'll get there, this would have read, giving us the distance we've covered from Top Tech to Cape Coast. So the trip meter is what tells you the distance you've covered from one place to the other. Then the second one gives us the miles, the mileage. What people ask, when they want to buy a car, what is the mileage? What is the mileage? This is what they are looking out for. They want to see how far their car has been used since it was manufactured. The higher the number, the more your car has been used. The lower the number, the lesser your car has been used. So when we are purchasing a car, yes, the mileage is important. The mileage is important. But another thing you should look out for is the quality of the engine. The quality of the engine. People will tell you the mileage can be tempered with. They can reduce their mileage. No, they cannot reduce their mileage. All they can do is they buy a new instrumentation panel with a lower mileage and fix it. So if you buy the car, you will see a lower mileage. All right. But maybe the car has been used more than this mileage because they have bought a new instrumentation panel and fixed it with a lower mileage. So please, we shouldn't depend solely on our mileage. We shouldn't depend solely on it. You need to get an expert, somebody who knows about cars, who can determine when even the car is started. The moment the car is started and there is a problem with your engine, the person will notice it. The person shouldn't drive the car before you get to know that your car has a problem. So the mileage is what we can also use to check that. Then when we come to the last one, this is a separate instrument. We have the top one being the fuel gauge, then the down one being the temperature gauge. With the fuel gauge, most of the times we see people buy fuel at the fuel stations. Then, example, they are filling their tank. Then you see them shaking the car. They will be shaking the car. When you ask them, they will tell you they want more fuel to get into it. With the fuel tank, when you put in more fuel, there should be a space left for air to mix up with our fuel. But the moment you shake it, it covers all the space, and that could spark fire. That is how come sometimes people's car will get burnt. You see the car starts burning and they can't do anything about it because it started from the tank where the fuel is. When it starts from there, you can't do anything. So shaking the car for more fuel to go in there, it's wrong. How do I know my tank is filled? He fixes the machine, he presses it, locks it. He will leave it. The machine will run for some time, then it cuts. He will come back to press it again. It runs, then it cuts. When it cuts for the second time, you should know that your tank is filled. That is not the time you have to be shaking for more fuel to go in there. Secondly, it can also spoil the nozzle. It can also spoil the nozzle. When you do that, it locks the nozzle. It will lock it up there. So all the time you will think, oh, I have full tank, but it is spoiled. So please, buying fuel and shaking, it's wrong. There is an icon which has an arrow beside it, which most people do not take so serious. But this arrow beside the fuel pump that we are seeing tells you where your tank is situated, or your tank is. The arrow, if it's pointing left, it is telling you that your tank is at the left. So when you get to the filling station, you shouldn't position yourself at the left hand side. You rather position yourself at the right hand side so they have easy access to your tank. Then if the arrow is also pointing right, then it means that your tank is at the right. You should position yourself at the left hand side so they have easy access to your tank. The last meter we can find here is the temperature gauge. This temperature gauge is what prompts you when your car is having overheating, or when your car is overheating. We can see C and H, which C is cold, H is hot. You start your car in the morning, it should stay on C. Whilst your engine starts to heat up, it climbs gradually. It climbs gradually, then it divides it into two. When it divides it into two, meaning that your cooling system is working well. The cooling system, the visible ones, we can see the radiator, we can see the fan, we can also see the coolant. But there are other ones that adds up, like the thermostat, the water pump. Water pump, the name is water pump, but we don't put water into cars. We don't put water into cars. So if all this together are working well, then your temperature gauge will also be working well. The moment you see it rising above, getting to the H, quickly you need to stop. You need to stop. When it gets to the H, that is where we start seeing vapor coming out of the car. And with that, when it gets to that extent, your head gasket will be gone. When your head gasket is gone, with petrol cars, yes, we can open the engine, change it. But with diesel cars, you can't. When you open it, the engine will lose its pressure. It will lose its pressure. So please, we shouldn't allow our temperature gauge get to H. We shouldn't allow it to get to the hot side. So this is the instrumentation panel. Then we'll be going to the dashboard lights that we are seeing, the warning lights that we are seeing, and what they mean. These are the most common dashboard lights, or dashboard warning lights, that we can find in most of the cars. There are more. There are more. The new cars that are coming, because of how they manufactured it, they've brought more into it. But these are the common ones we can find on every car. I will start from down here. This light tells you about your seat belt. It tells you about your seat belt. The moment people sit in your car and you see this light, it means that some of the passengers are not with their seat belt. They need to put on their seat belt. After they put it on and you still find out that this light is on, then there is a problem with your seat belt system. It needs to be checked. It needs to be checked. When you check it, with all these icons, please do not give it to mechanics. It will shock you what mechanics can do. It will shock you what mechanics can do. With the ABS we are seeing is anti-lock braking system. It is also connected to our braking system, which unlocks the wheels. When you brake, you have an emergency brake. If the car has no ABS and you brake, you give an emergency brake, your wheels lock. But this system has been placed in the car so that when your wheels lock, automatically it unlocks it. So when this light appears on your dashboard or your instrumentation panel, you need to have it checked. Do not give it to mechanics, because the mechanic will work on this, the light cannot go, then all he can do is to cut the cable. When he cuts the cable, this light goes off. He has worked on your car because you wanted the light off. He has worked on it. But this is also important for our car. It helps the braking system for effective braking. So please, when it happens that any of these lights are on your instrumentation panel, give it to a diagnostic machine. People, they'll put a machine on it which will detect what exactly happened to this and tell them what to do to repair it. The next one is our oil pressure light, which when it appears on your dashboard, it's telling you that your oil is getting finished. Gradually your oil is getting finished. Quickly we need to have it checked. There could be a leakage somewhere, which the oil leakage could be internal, it could be external. If it's internal, you would not see it. But if it's external, it will drop on the ground for you to see. So when it's external, quickly you have it checked. If it's internal, you also have it checked. The next is our fog light. When you see this on, it means that your fog light is on. All you need to do is to put it off. When you put it off, it will go out. It will go out. Then we move to the next line. This icon tells us that our tire pressure is down. It tells you that your tire pressure is down. Then the newer cars that are coming in, this is not there. What you see is they draw a car. A car appears on your instrumentation panel. Then they write numbers at the tires. They will draw a car, then they'll write numbers on the tires. Let's say 36, 36, 36, 36. But the moment the other 136 goes down, let's say 28, it means that the one with the 28 has a problem. It has a puncture, or the inflation pressure in there has gone down. So you need to work on it. It could be a slow puncture, or it could be that the fluid or the paste they use in doing, like this is an example of a tire. They use paste on the side so that it gets very good contact with the rims. So if the paste has worn out or there is no paste, then there will be air going out of your tire. There will be air going out of your tire. So please, when we see that it deals with your tire pressure, the moment you work on it, you put in air, you move on it, this light should go off. If it still stays there, then it means we should check all our tires. We should check all our tires. Then the next one deals with the airbag. The next one deals with the airbag. Sometimes people confuse themselves with this and that. This is the seat belt and this is the airbag. The moment your airbag light comes on means that your airbag has a problem. It needs to be checked. If you don't check it and it still stays on, when there is a head-on collision whereby your airbag should come out to protect you, it wouldn't come out. It wouldn't. So please, when the light is on, we should have it checked. Why the light is on? It could be your sensor. The airbag sensor is gone, it's spoiled. So all they need to do is to change it. The next one is a demister. A demister or a defroster. This in our car helps defrost our windshield. When it's raining, sometimes you see that the windscreen becomes frosty. Drivers will be driving at the same time using dusters to clean the windshield, which is wrong. In driving, you need both hands on the steering wheel. So all you need to do is to push this, and it generates heat. It brings out heat at the same time, the cold air, just to defrost your windshield for effective driving. Then we have this, which is the hazard indicator knob. You just press it and your double indicator light comes on. What we hear people saying, trafficator, trafficator. It's called traffic indicator light. The two light comes on, which tells everybody that is following you or ahead of you that there is a problem with your car. Normally we see people, the moment it starts to rain, people put on their hazard light. It is wrong. When it's raining, we don't put on hazard light. All you need to put on is your headlight. You put on the headlight, so people, everybody behind you will see your brake light. And those coming from in front or your front will also see that there is a car ahead of them. You don't put on your hazard light when it is raining. We should take note of that. We move to this, which talks about traction. It deals with traction. When this light is on, it means that your tires are not getting hold of the road well. They are not getting hold of the road well. There are mechanisms which will help you when you get to a point you can put it off, but some of them do not have those. If your car doesn't have it and it stays on, your car is not having traction. It normally happens when you are in muddy areas or you are climbing a hilly area. That is when this light comes on. You are forcing the car to move on the road and it's not having traction. It will appear. The next one deals with our fuel. When this light comes on, tells you that your fuel has gone down. Your fuel has gone down. When you allow this light on severally for some time, your fuel pump will cease. And when your fuel pump ceases, your car, you can't use it. All you need to do is to change it. It will amaze you that the fuel you buy into your car is not as expensive as the fuel pump. The fuel pump is very expensive than the fuel we buy in our car. So please, we should be very, very careful. So when we shouldn't allow our fuel light, warning light, to come on. Always it should be at the top. Then the next one, which looks like there is a shoe in there, are only found in automatic vehicles. They are not found in manual vehicles. They are only found in automatic vehicles, which says that when you see this light on, it means that you were forcing the car to change without using the brakes. You know, before you change your gears, you need to slam the brakes so hard before you change. But if you do not do that and you are forcing the gears to change, this light will come on. It will be there. So it prompts you that there is something wrong. You are not doing something right. So when you see the light, all you need to do is to slam your brakes down and change. This light will go off. It will go off. The next one deals with the temperature gauge. The new cars that are coming do not have what we saw previously when I showed the instrumentation panel, but now they come with this. In the morning you start your car, since it has not heated up, you see a blue color. As the engine heats up, when it gets to its level, this light will go off. But the moment you see this light illuminated red, then there is overheating taking place. Quickly, you have to park your car and check why the overheating is happening. This, which we call the heater coil, found in only diesel cars. They are found in only diesel cars. This cannot be found in petrol car. It's found in only diesel cars. Let me use an example. The Sprinter buses that we sit in. When you sit in the car, sometimes you see them pressing something for a long time before they start it. Or you see them joining two wires. They join two wires before they start the car. Yes, the automatic way for this to work has spoiled. So they do it manually. So they can join the two wires to heat up the engine before they start. So when you see yours on, if you are using a diesel car and you see it on, have it checked. Let them check the connection of the heater so they work on it for you. The next one is the battery. When you see this icon appearing on and off, it means that your charging system in the car has spoiled. And what charges your battery? The alternator. We have what we call the alternator in the car, which charges the battery. At the same time, the alternator moves the car. So the moment the alternator is not charging the battery, you see this light appear and goes off. It appears, then it goes off. Quickly, you have to have your alternator checked. Let them check the alternator for you, and this will go off. The next one is a check engine sign. Check engine sign, which tells you that your engine has a problem. It tells you that your engine has a problem. Sometimes there are some of the cars, when your car is due for servicing, it appears. The moment you service it and they reset it for you, it goes off. So when you see that, please have your engine checked. And it will amaze you that a mechanic did something, and when you think about it, you ask, is this person a real mechanic? There was a check engine sign which he's supposed to work on. He's worked on it for a long time. He couldn't let it go. So all he could do was to open the dashboard and use this electrician's tape, the black tape. He used it to cover it. He covered it. So when it's day, you will not see it. But in the night, you see it illuminate a little. Before they checked and saw that he has used a tape to cover it because he couldn't work on it. That is why I'm saying when this light appears, don't give it to mechanics. This is not the work of mechanics. This is not the work of mechanics. The next one, when you see it, means that your parking brake is on. When we talk about parking brake, we have the foot one and we have the hand one. The hand one is what we call the handbrake, and the foot one is the one that at the far end, the left side of the driver, which they need to push it down. So when you see it on, it means that your parking brake is on. Your parking brake is on. So you should bring it down before you move. When you start your car, the moment you turn the key, where we slot the key is called the ignition. Then when you look on the ignition, you will see ACC, which is accessories. You see ACC, which is accessories. You see on. When you turn your key to on, it brings this light onto your instrumentation panel. It brings it on. All these lights will appear. Then the moment you start your car, every light here should go off, leaving this, because your handbrake or your parking brake is still on. So when you see this light, you start your car and all this light goes off and it's only this. Everything is working well. The moment you bring your parking brake down, this should also go off. But after you started your car and you see any of this light on, please call a diagnostic person. He puts the machine on it and determine what exactly is wrong. So he corrects it. When they put the machine on it, it tells them what is wrong and also suggests how to repair it. So please, we should, whenever we see this on our instrumentation panel, this is what we have to do. And so many times people do not know this. That is why we are treating this morning from Top Tech Ghana. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye.